Good evening, DFL. Welcome to the very first ever live broadcast being brought to you from the Seiler Studios, the DFL headquarters, the Office of the Commish, however you want to look at it. Guys, just absolutely thrilled and excited to be starting off this year. I think we just have a ton of things to look forward to, a few of which I want to jump into right off the bat. And that is item number one, the 2015 DFL draft. Now, in the past, we've worked really hard on ensuring that everyone could vote on when the draft would happen, that everyone could have their voice heard, and it just became a kind of a cluster. And so I've decided that as the commissioner, I'm gonna work more out of the totalitarian reigning system, in which I will make all the decisions. So starting off with the draft, I think our best bet, and I'm going to take a lot of votes and a lot of polls on this. I'm not good at the totalitarian thing. As a dictator, I lack a lot of energy, a lot of courage. So here's my best bet. My best thought is that we try to go as close to opening kickoff day as possible. So kickoff is September 10th. The Steelers play the Patriots. That game, I believe, is at 8:30. So that means it's 6:30 Mountain Time. So it'd be awesome to draft on kickoff night. However, I'm not sure if our Rocky Mountain friends will be able to get home early enough from work, because then you're looking at maybe wanting to draft at like 5 o'clock in the evening, which would then be 7 o'clock my time. You figure we have an hour and a half to draft, and then everyone gets to watch the first night of the NFL. So we'll talk about that a little bit. We'll figure out if Dion is maybe going to take a half day that day, perhaps, and join the rest of us as we draft our teams, draft our dynasties, draft the next champion. A couple things on the agenda tonight. We're going to talk about last year's season. We're going to talk about last year's draft results. We're going to talk about this year's draft, what we have to look forward to, some predictions. And finally, we're going to wrap up the show tonight with a lottery-style pick, which will tell us who the next member of the DFL will be. We have 3 members who are vying for a spot in the league. Those members are Mike Seiler out of Beulah, North Dakota. We have Tyler Schmidt. I'm not sure where he lives now. Possibly Fargo, maybe Moorhead, maybe Beulah. He could be in Canada. And then we also have Sam Seiler, who's out of Minneapolis, Minnesota. Those are 3 individuals who will be looking at getting into the league. Like I said, it'll be a lottery-style draft or a lottery-style selection process. That means that Mike, since he was up for admission last year, he has 2 chances at getting in this year. Tyler, same thing. He was up last year. He's got 2 chances to get in this year. Sam, this is his first year being nominated, so he'll have 1 chance to get in. So the odds, Sam's got a 1 to 5 odds of getting in. Tyler and Mike both have 2 to 5 odds. So we got something a little special planned later on to show how we're going to make that drafting process go, or that selection process rather. Also want to say that the phone lines are wide open tonight. Actually, right now it's starting to light up already. So if you wanna have your voice heard, if you want to call in, I suggest you do it now, because it's lighting up. But I'm going to have to hold this off. It's crazy. All the people are, no, ignore. But maybe I'll accept your call. So the phone number tonight, if you're wanting to call in, is area code 701-891-9926. I'm expecting tons of telemarketing calls over the next few days thanks to that move of mine. But anyways, the number 701-891-9926. Call into the show. Have your voice heard. Let's jump in right now. Couple things. Last year, looking at the way the season went down, Robbie Volk, the big Gronkowski, came through with the championship. And in an unbelievable fashion, for those of you who maybe don't remember, Robbie came into the playoffs with a record of 7-6, which was that was what the bottom three in the playoffs, that was their record, right? So Robbie essentially, for all intents and purposes, was a wild card. The heavy favorites going into the playoffs were Mind Crimes, Dion, and Wanted Dead or Alive, Kim. Both of them had 11-2 records. As we can remember, Robbie he got hot at the end of the season. He won 5 straight games to close out his season and got into the playoffs and just couldn't be stopped. He just had the juju going. And so Robbie busts through the first couple rounds of the playoffs, and then he meets Dion in a showdown. And again, Dion is one of those interesting stories, Mind Crimes that is one of those interesting stories in our league in that he's a veteran player in this league, and he started out as one of the weaker players in the league, right? Dion's first couple years in the league, he struggled. He was a bottom feeder. He had a hard time getting on a bet on Sunday mornings because he knew it was going to be a painful day for him. But the last couple of years, he's really came about, and this seemed like it was going to be his year. He had a bold drafting strategy, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But unfortunately for Dion, Robbie just could not be stopped when it came playoff time. Like you guys know, Robbie's name is the Big Gronkowski, and just like the Patriots do, come playoff time, he showed up, he put up the big numbers, and the Big Gronkowski took home the cup. And getting to that point, the cup, as we all know in the Delusional Football League, we have a very strict code of ethics, and that is losers walk, winners talk. So we make our losers pay, right? We make our losers deal with the embarrassment of their own issues. And so I understood last year I had an off year. I was going through some stuff on the draft day, just some family tragedies. I had some scandal. I had my finances were crashing and corrupting. I had an adoption fall through that day. Sarah and I were going to adopt a triplet set of African-American girls, WNBA stars, we were hoping. And unfortunately, all that fell through that day, my draft day. And so I knew the whole season I was going to have a rough season because the things are out of my grasp. And so, but come consolation time, I didn't want to be the guy to buy the mug because that's humiliating and only losers buy mugs, as we all know. And so come time for the consolation championship, to me, that was the most dramatic part of the season. It came down to me and Hypercats in the last place game, and I would not be denied for that 11th place title. So Hypercats wound up taking last year, and they had to buy Robbie's mug, which I have already seen a picture of. I've been assured of. The mug has been purchased, so Hypercats has purchased their ticket to be introduced into the league again this year. We won't fault them for being losers. They paid their sacrifice to the gods. Hopefully Robbie will be showing us the picture of his mug sometime soon so that everyone can see. But that was last year. You know what I mean? That was last year. It just goes to show that anyone can win this thing. I mean, you can be Robbie, just a 7-6 team that probably shouldn't have been there in the first place due to the fact that he's not that good at fantasy football. But again, you get lucky for a couple weeks, and you're now the DFL champion. You were crowned as one of the most prestigious titles in sports, next to the winner of the Tour de France, which obviously, as we all know, that's kind of fallen out of glory as well. Moving on to last year's draft, what led to what last year was. What was, I think, the most interesting part about last year's draft was the number 2 pick. Number 2 pick went to Raging Marmots. That's Josh Seiler. He went, and I understand the thought process here, but Josh decided to go with Adrian Peterson for his number 2 pick. Now, I'm sure Josh would tell you it was a strategy move. He's going to say Adrian Peterson is one of the best running backs in the league, possibly one of the best running backs of all time, and to an extent that's true. But I don't know if you should ever draft a Minnesota Viking with the number 2 overall pick, unless that guy's name is Warren Moon, but that doesn't exist anymore, okay? So Adrian Peterson was a number 2 overall pick last year for Josh, Raging Marmots. And again, Adrian Peterson hasn't wore football pads in a year, which really screwed Josh's season last year. So Josh automatically, by drafting Adrian Peterson and then the whole thing that went down, Josh essentially threw away his first pick, which made it all the more impressive that Josh was able to battle back and make it a somewhat salvageable season anyways. The number 1 pick went to last year's newest member, Kevin Brown, who took LaShawn McCoy. I don't see that happening again this year. I think LaShawn McCoy more than likely falls out of the top 10, possibly even falls out of the first round, or possibly even falls out of the first round. I just don't know if you trust Buffalo's running game in that we've seen in the past. I know it's a new coach and everything, so you got to believe that it's probably going to be more like the Jets ran things last couple of years. But still, I just think that the running back by committee thing is scary when you're under Rex Ryan, and I also think that LaShawn McCoy just didn't show what he had last year. He didn't show his chops. So again, LaShawn McCoy comes back this year, has a huge year in Buffalo. He could be the steal of the draft because no one's going to take him number 1 this year. Number 3 last year went to Wanted Dead or Alive. That was Kim. She took Matt Forte. Number 4 went to Jory, Michael Swervin. He took Jamal Charles. Number 5 went to Hypercat, our last place team. They took Peyton Manning, which I want to touch on just briefly. You all know my feelings on Peyton Manning and the Broncos of Denver. I think Peyton Manning, as much as he is a fantastic regular season quarterback, I struggle now taking him in fantasy because he has shown that towards the end of the year his arm wears down. And again, I don't think that necessarily prohibits Denver from winning a Super Bowl this year, but what I will say is I would not be surprised if Denver puts a lot of effort into preserving Peyton's arm this year, especially towards the end of the season. So once you get past week 10, I can see Denver limiting Peyton to 20 throws a game and winning, and obviously winning. Denver's going to have a crazy strong running game with C.J. Anderson, Monty Ball, under Gary Kubiak. They've got a young offensive line that's just getting better. And plus, everyone's going to be having to drop back 4 or 5 guys just to cover Demaryius Thomas, much less the other receiving core. So I think Denver's still going to be winning games towards the end of the season, but I don't know if Peyton Manning goes in the first round this year. And I definitely don't think he goes as high as 5. Number 6 was Eddie Lacy. That went to Bronson, the Brady Bunch. A moment of silence for Bronson, the Brady Bunch, who last year was his last year. He violated a rule of 3, which is you can't forget to set your roster more than 3 weeks in a season. And unlike Jesus, we don't have grace in this league, and so Bronson was immediately booted from the DFL. But the 6th overall pick last year, the 7th overall pick last year, that went to the big Gronkowski. That was Robbie, our league champion. He took Calvin Johnson. I don't see Calvin Johnson being the top receiver pick this year. In fact, I think Calvin Johnson could fall to the 4th receiver pick this year, but we will discuss that in a little bit. The 8th pick went to Billy Brozy Forshenkos. He took Demaryius Thomas. The 9th pick, and this is where things, for me, just got crazy. The 9th pick overall went to Dion Mindcrimes, who had one of the best records last year. He took Julius Thomas. Why that's interesting? A couple of reasons. First of all, Julius Thomas is a tight end. Most time you don't take tight ends in the first round of a fantasy football league. Second reason that was impressive was that Julius Thomas is not even the best tight end in the league, not even the best fantasy tight end. So Dion took a position that people don't take in the first round, and he took the 2nd or 3rd best player at that position. And as much as he still went on to win games, it was not because of that pick, because Julius Thomas had a horrible year. He was hurt most of the year. He had a good first couple games. But Julius Thomas, probably the worst pick of the first round last year by Dion Benning, which, again, just is all the more impressive that he went on to actually have a decent season. Number 10 overall was me, Dr. X's Nose, taking Dez Bryant. That pick was later traded. Number 11 was Marshawn Lynch. That went to the Fighting Sioux, Josh. And number 12, our second tight end of the first round, which makes me almost want to blow this league up and start all over again. Wow, we're taking 2 tight ends in the first round. But that was long hair, don't care, Ike Michelson, taking Jimmy Graham, a tight end. I don't even know if he breaks the top 5 tight ends this year. So moving on now to this year's draft, we have just 1 minute. I'm getting some messages in from some. It looks like we got some people trying to get in. Yeah, again, we're not necessarily going to be reading text online, Mom. If you have something to say, please don't make me read it out loud I'm trying to maintain a respectful title here. Unbelievable. Anyways, if you have something to say, please call in. I feel like I already said that, but people don't listen in this league. That's been demonstrated multiple times. Anyways, moving on to this year's draft. First of all, the order will go new guy with the first overall pick, Hypercat second, me third, Raging Marmots fourth, Long Hair Don't Care 5, Michael Swervin 6, Mountain Brown 7, Billy Brosy Forshankos at 8. Is that where we're on? Kim Wanted Dead or Alive at 9. We got Cal Fighting Sue at 10. Mind Crimes Dion at 11, and then Robbie would be rounding us out at 12 with the last pick of the draft. Looking at this year's draft, as predicted by Yahoo, the top player in the draft this year, according to Yahoo for our league, is Jamal Charles. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if I see it. I think Jamal Charles is a heck of a talent. He gets himself a lot of yards off of not a lot of touches. But I don't know if I trust him enough to get enough touches in the game. I think maybe perhaps his touchdowns get hawked at the line potentially. So I don't know if I see Jamal Charles as the top pick. But if Yahoo is being correct with us, that means Jamal Charles goes out to the new guy. The second overall pick this year, and again, I don't know where Yahoo is getting this from, but is Adrian Peterson. And again, I don't know if I have the number 2 pick, if I'm taking Adrian Peterson, a guy who hasn't even put on a football helmet in the last year. The number 3 person ranked is Eddie Lacy. Number 4 is Marshawn Lynch. So our top 4, are going to be all running backs. Number 5, the first receiver that Yahoo predicts to come off the board is Antonio Brown. Just a brief note on Antonio Brown and just the entire Pittsburgh Steelers offense. I think they are going to blow up like crazy this year. I just think that the talent that they have, what they were showing last year, I think that the Pittsburgh Steelers have the potential to have one of the best quarterbacks in fantasy football, one of the best running backs, and one of the best receivers. Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be a crazy fantasy football matchup for us to watch every year. So Antonio Brown is the top-ranked receiver this year, according to Yahoo. Number 6, Yahoo sneaks in Rob Gronkowski. Again, just like the Adrian Peterson ranking, I can't agree with this because we didn't really see enough from Rob. Rob Gronkowski had a few injury problems last year. He's had injury problems in the past. And he's not going to have Tom Brady for the first 4 games of his season. Now, for some people, suspension isn't going to touch you because, you're going to make up for it in the rest of the season. But as a tight end, you can only make up so much. And so you think the first 4 games, Gronk is going to have Jimmy Garoppolo throwing the ball to him. They don't have hardly any chemistry built up. That's going to be followed up by Tom Brady coming back. And you got to believe that 5th and 6th game back, some chemistry you're still going to have to build up. They're going to have to get going full speed. So that means that you're not going to have Rob Gronkowski at full speed in the season, except for the last 10 games of the season. So yeah, again, I can't completely disagree with having Rob Gronkowski as the best tight end. I think that's true. And even in the first round, as much as I don't like taking tight ends in the first round, I can understand someone doing it. I just don't know about 6. I don't know about having him at the top half of the draft. Number 7, Le'Veon Bell. Like I was saying earlier, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to be an absolute fantasy goldmine this year. And so I think Le'Veon Bell is going to be a solid pick at 7. Again, remembering he's missing the first 2 games of the season. But again, we're a PPR league, so I think Le'Veon Bell is an absolute steal in a PPR league. Number 8, the second overall receiver ranked is Odell Beckham Jr. Had a great year last year, but so you got to worry about the sophomore slump. You got to worry about what if he doesn't have that same chemistry. What if Eli has a couple bad games, which we've seen is possible. Number 9 is Dez Bryant. Number 10 is Demaryius Thomas. So right there at 8 through 10, we have 3 receivers. So you could see a lot of receivers start going off the board there, which in the draft, it could possibly shift people's strategies. If people start seeing a lot of receivers going, maybe we start reaching for receivers as early as the first round. We'll see how that pans out. 11 is Jeremy Hill, which I was equally surprised to see that we'd have Jeremy Hill in the first round and not DeMarco Murray. But Jeremy Hill out of Cincinnati, again, my concern there is that as a sophomore, as a second year, it's hard to say whether or not his first year was a fluke, if people are still getting used to maybe defending him. And then rounding out our first round is Matt Forte, which, again, in a PPR setting, you really can't go wrong. So that's what we're looking at. That's what the first round is looking at. That's what that's what our draft is potentially looking like for the DFL. We only have about a few more minutes left. And so, again, you want to get some calls in, you go ahead, you light up the lines. Like I said, lines have just been lighting up all night, but I've just been neglecting and neglecting and neglecting, but the lines are lighting up. Thought that would work. Let's move on to the main event of the evening, and that is the lottery selection of who the next member of the DFL will be. Now, what I've done is I have 5 eggs. I have eggs. 4 of these eggs are hard-boiled and will create no mess for me or the viewers. 1 of these eggs is raw and will create a mess for me, but still not the viewers. We have a caller, finally, just as we were getting the meat of it. Just gotta work some magic here. Get the things. I got the caller. You're on air. Can you identify yourself for the general public?
My name is Victor Football.
We have Victor Football on the air with us. Victor Football, what'd you want to say to the public tonight?
I just wanted to give a shout out. First of all, man, I just wanted to say I'm a long-time listener, first-time caller. And I just wanted to give a shout-out to Mind Crimes. That team's going to go all the way this year. They almost had it last year, but it was stolen from them. And they're going to come out this year and sock every team in the face, and they're going to win the championship.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I have some sources in the league who have said that Mind Crimes is potentially looking at trading up for the draft. Is there any truth? Can you confirm or deny the fact that Mind Crimes is working in the trading room already?
Well, I can't speak to that. Like, I don't know what Mind Crimes is thinking, but I know they've really had their eyes on some top players for the first round of the draft. Maybe Aaron Hernandez or Ray Rice or a good player like that. So I think that's the way they're going to go.
So, Victor Football, are you confirming right now that Mind Crimes will be looking to the judiciary system for their first overall pick?
I can't say it. The line's getting fuzzy. I gotta go.
We want to thank Victor Football for calling in tonight. He made some valid points. Drafting someone like Ray Rice or Aaron Hernandez would be something we would expect out of some of the members of this league. Mind Crimes, on the other hand, I don't know. They have shocked us in the past, so it'll be interesting to see how they come about, what their draft strategy is. Mind Crimes is drafting in the somewhat coveted 11th spot of the draft, which means they have that 11th spot, and they follow that up with the 14th spot. So a lot can happen, but you got to be quick on your feet, and quick on his feet is something that I think we have yet to see from Mind Crimes. Maybe this year he turns it around and has himself just a heck of a draft within the first 2 rounds. So moving on. Phone's still lighting up, but still neglecting the phone's lighting up. Moving on to the lottery selection. Like I was saying about the eggs. I don't know if you guys heard me say eggs yet. We have 4 eggs that are hard-boiled and will create no mess. We have 1 egg that is raw that will create a mess. On all 5 of these eggs, we have initials of the potential members of the league. As your commissioner, I take it very seriously the people who admit into this league, and so tonight I'm going to show that in a demonstration of bravado that will hopefully prove my commitment to this league. We got a caller calling in right now on the air. Caller, would you mind identifying yourself? Call just like on the radio. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're live on the air. If you have an opinion, spit it.
Well, I do. First of all, I was just going to pass on a message from Mike. He was wondering if you should send that check for $20 an hour, or when exactly does that need to be sent to you so we can get in?
I think Mike needs to understand two things. One, the office of the commissioner is one that's very serious and can definitely be bought off with money. Number two, $20 isn't even close to my budget. Try 25.
Okay. But I was just going to put a shout out there. It seems like the Vikings are on a roll. Even without Adrian Peterson, they trounced the Pittsburgh Steelers, and I know Mind Crimes really likes that team, but I was wondering if anybody out there actually watched that game. And I know you were toting the whole Pittsburgh Steelers colors tonight, but I just don't see it. I think Teddy Bridgewater had them figured out.
That's an interesting point. Thanks for calling in. The Teddy Bridgewater thing is going to be interesting this year for the fact that he looked good last night, but he looked good because he checked down to his tight end the entire game. I do watch preseason football. So Teddy Bridgewater will be an interesting look this year. Coming in from Minneapolis, caller, you're on the air. What do you have for us tonight? We got just a little bit of delay here. Think we lost our caller. This is what everyone goes through on the radio. I was warned this would happen. Teddy Bridgewater is an interesting dynamic because, like I said, he's one that he's going to check down. But the other thing about the Vikings to look out for is that you have behind Adrian Peterson, they have two running backs that they really like. They have Asiata, they have Jerick McKinnon. I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they're going to steal carries from Adrian Peterson, but if the Vikings sideline sees Adrian Peterson start to get a little winded, if they see all day, not able to go all day, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Asiata, if we see McKinnon, maybe steal some goal line carries. Maybe they start stealing some spell carries. And, again, I just don't think that Adrian Peterson is the workhorse we've been used to seeing in the past. So moving on to the lottery process. 4 eggs are hard-boiled. 1 egg is raw. These eggs have initials on them. So 2 of these eggs have an M on them for Mike. 2 of these eggs have a T on them for Tyler. 1 egg has an S on it for Sam. As a commissioner, I will take these names and I will smash them on my head. The hard-boiled eggs will have to wait another day to get into the DFL. The egg that has the mess, the horrific, that's gonna be our winner. That is gonna be that's gonna be the guy that is welcome to the DFL with open arms. This has been done completely randomly. I boiled the eggs earlier, then I put them in the fridge, then I mixed them up, then I had Sarah mix them up, then I mixed them up, then Sarah mixed them up, and then Sarah wrote the initials on the eggs, so there's no way that this could have been fixed. Unlike last year's process, this will not be tainted by man or money. Unless Mike comes back with a better offer, but I'm going to assume that's a no. So without further ado, let's get moving onto the 2015 DFL member selection process. So as you can see, we have our egg carton. We have our 5 eggs. Again, just to a preface, I have no idea which eggs are cooked and which 1 egg is uncooked and who will be the next member of the DFL. Still no colors. All right, good. Just trying to stall here for a second. All right. The first lottery pick to see, he will be in the DFL. We have an M for Mike. This egg is raw. Mike's in the league. We have a hard-boiled egg. Mike's first chance, kaput. Second egg, we have a T for Tyler. T for Tyler. If it's raw, he's in. We're still good. Third egg. Still not a call. Third egg. We have an S for Sam. This is Sam's only chance to get in. So far, we have Tyler's lost a chance and Mike has lost a chance. This is Sam's only chance to get into the league. So, Sam, all your hopes, all your dreams, will you be the next member of the DFL? He will not. He will not. This is all right. Actually, if the next one's horrible, I don't even have to smash an egg on my head because it's fucking. So Sam, thank you for playing, Sam. You will unfortunately not be in this year, but next year, if we have an opening next year, you will have 2 eggs in the basket. Our fourth egg, our fourth lottery, to see if he is in the league. This is Mike. If this egg is raw, Mike's in. If this egg is not raw, then Tyler Schmidt is the next member of our league. So, raw, Mike's in. To see if Mike will be the next member of the DFL. I want to congratulate Mike Seiler as the next member of the DFL. We're extremely happy to have you come aboard. Looking forward to what you're going to bring to the league. Looking forward to the competitive edge that you will attempt to demonstrate. And above all, really hoping you get Facebook sometime soon so you can actually communicate with the league. So that's it. Mike Seiler has the first overall pick in the 2015 DFL draft. Tyler, next year, if we have an opening, you will have 3 eggs in the basket, increasing your chances. That's it for the DFL opening ceremony show tonight. We'll be doing the draft the week of September 10th, maybe not September 10th, but the week of September 10th, looking at the evening so that Dion can get home from work and draft with us from the commission's office. Appreciate you guys chiming in tonight. Appreciate you guys joining in. And we'll see you guys at the end of the season battling for the mug.